just by saying you want a better marriage won't get you a better marriage, because you got an old habit already of not creating enough time for your spouse, not being intentional about scheduling date night, not being intentional about scheduling time that y'all talk to one another if y'all schedules are that busy. And so that new goal, that new wine of wanting a better marriage ain't gonna happen in 2025 as long as you fitting it into this old framework. Before I even get started today, I just have to say thank you. You guys have encouraged me tremendously. I appreciate everybody from the audio platforms that's been sending me messages on Instagram and so on and so forth. For those of you that watch visually on YouTube, for leaving comments and letting us know and giving us feedback, man, I thoroughly appreciate you guys, because you are the reason why I do this. You know, at the end of the day, these are conversations that I typically have with, you know, colleagues, constituents, clients in the background. And I'm just so grateful that these conversations are helping you as I bring them to the forefront. And again, because this is about you, I want to get your feedback, right? I want to understand in what ways are these conversations helping. I want to understand what topics would you guys like to hear covered. So don't be shy about that. I don't take any offense to it. I welcome it that you let me know in the comments, whether you're watching visually on YouTube or if you're listening on audio. Find me on one of the platforms. Send me a DM on Instagram. We check those things and we just welcome the insight, because I'm committed. Like, I'm so glad we started this in 2024. And it's so important that when you want to do things in 2025 or whatever the year is, that you start building momentum the year prior. Because a lot of the time, the reason why people fall flat is because they get discouraged too soon into starting something new. And that's actually going to be what I'm going to talk to you guys about. For those of you that haven't tuned into the podcast, I'm your host, Brian Adamson. Welcome to the Believers in Business podcast. The whole essence of the podcast is to help business owners, aspiring business owners, live a level 10 life, right? That you kill it financially in your business, that you're killing it in your fitness, you're killing it in your family life, that you're killing it in your finances, and that you're killing it in your freedom. And so that's the essence of this, right? Coming from a business owner, a faith-based business owner, showing you biblical principles and practices as to how, you know, I strive to achieve a level 10 in all aspects that are important in life and in business. So we started the podcast, I don't know, depending on when this airs, maybe 6, 7, 8 weeks ago. So a couple months before the end of 2024 going into 2025. Why is that important? It's important because now we've built up some momentum. I've gotten used to this different format by which to communicate. Still getting used to, but y'all get my point, right? I've got considerable reps in. And now for 2025, you know, we're looking at bringing on guests, whether that be I do live, in-person interviews, as well as doing some virtually, because I'm just all about collaboration. I'm all about growth. I'm all about different ideas. And the truth is, you know, scripture tells us that one man can get 1,000, but two can put 10,000 to flight. So collaboration is important. Collaboration is important. I will tell you that I'm very selective and particular about who I will bring on the platform. It don't mean every time it's going to be a home run, but if they show themselves approve, right, there will be invites back. But people who are disruptive in their space, but also still just fit within the culture. There's certain things that are non-negotiables for us, right? No offensive language. You know, you cuss, that's your business, right? But I'm just talking about things that would be offensive to the listener and the audience. So we're going to keep a certain level of integrity as we do this, but look forward to hearing other voices, because I think what it also does, you know, I got 41 years of files that are just, some of them so deep in the archives that I don't even think about them unless there's a thought or a question or a comment that could spark it, which is why I welcome y'all asking questions about other topics that you may be concerned about that you want me to cover. Because it's probably something in the arsenal. I just don't even know, because those files stored away, we don't even keep them over here. They're in the warehouse, right? So I love what happens in the power of collaboration in that regard, that we can spark certain things within one another. And also it's just to highlight a bunch of other phenomenal people that's killing it in their respective spaces that I think that you guys can learn from, glean from, and all those things, because, you know, again, I'm here to serve. And part of that serving is building a community, which is why we have our Believers in Business community, right? And shout out to everybody that's joined recently. Amazing things happening inside that community, beyond the fact that you're getting business coaching by me, but that, you know, you're growing in all these other areas of your life, and your faith and your fitness and your finance and your freedom, okay? And in your family life, which is also important. What's the point of getting all this money and then can't enjoy it, right? Because your health is compromised or your relationships are compromised. Or all these various things that every business owner goes through or aspiring business owner will endure and encounter. So anyway, to the episode for today, I want to talk to you guys about, obviously it's this time of year where everybody's getting in gear to try to make better 2025 than they did in 2024. They set new goals for themselves. They set new aspirations for themselves, all those good things. But there's a reason why people fail. And it's not talked about enough. I don't know if it's talked about at all. I actually heard a phenomenal sermon by my guy, Pastor Jay, and the scripture reference that he used in the sermon, the parable that he used, just spoke volumes to me, right? About the reason why people fail at New Year's resolutions, the reason why people fail at goal setting. And I want to share that with y'all today. Y'all think that'd be helpful to help you start to hit your goals and do those things that you want to do this year? I think so too. The scripture reference is Mark 2:22. Jesus himself is talking and he says, "And no one puts new wine into old wineskins, for the wine would burst the wineskins, and the wine and the skins will both be lost. New wine calls for new wineskins." So for those of you that may be wine drinkers, you get it. For those that don't, maybe not as much, right? As y'all may or may not know, I stopped drinking 6 years ago, but I was quite the enthusiast when I was, right? And not wine so much, but just, I'm always infatuated with anything that I do. I'm a cigar guy, so I'm a cigar enthusiast. Anything that I do, I like to really get to understand it, right? The nuance of it. And so for my real wine connoisseurs, right? Y'all don't come for me in these comments. I'm about to articulate this to the best of my knowledge. But the thing is this, when you're putting new wine into a wineskin, the wine, as it goes through its fermentation process, which is what creates the potency and creates the alcohol, all the rest of it, it's got to breathe, right? There's gases in that. So there's gases that release. The skins have to breathe, expand and contract. Well, that's great if you got new wine and you putting it into new wine skins, because the new wine skins are still pliable. They have that elasticity to them. When you start putting new wine into old wine skins, the old wine skins are older, they're brittle, they're dried out, and so they'll burst when the gases build up to a big enough point. So why is this important to goal setting? I'm glad you asked that question. The reason why this is so important is because you don't hit new goals by setting new goals. You hit new goals by changing old habits. You don't hit new goals by setting new goals. You hit new goals by changing old habits. See, your new goal is the new wine. Your old habits is the old wineskins. So when you try to fit your new goals into your old habits, it don't work. It bursts and then you quit by February. So think about it. Let's just say right now in your life, you feel like you and your spouse, two ships passing each other in a night. Y'all don't spend a lot of time together. In result of it, y'all marriage is suffering. Communication is horrible. Sex life, terrible. And then you say in 2025, hopefully you saying this, in 2025, I want a better marriage. Just so you know, if I just described any adjectives of what's going on in your marriage in 2025, one of your goals ain't to have a better one, let's talk after the show. Hey, real quick, are you operating at a level 10 in your life? Do you want to? I'm talking about a level 10 in your finances, a level 10 in your health and wellness, a level 10 in your marriage and your family life. Like excelling in every single area that's important for you personally and as a business owner. Because if you anything like me, you probably figured out, unless you have every single important area of your life firing on all cylinders, you still don't have success. Like, I've been rich and miserable. I've had seasons where my health was compromised, which made the money not so important all of a sudden. I had seasons where my marriage was challenged. The money ain't so important all of a sudden. But here's what I figured out though. There is a world that exists that you can have your faith, your fitness, your finance, your freedom, and your family life firing on all cylinders. And if you don't want to be like the status quo and live a life at a level 3 and be mediocre, then I got just a place for you. It's called Believers in Business. It's a phenomenal community with like-minded individuals who all seek a level 10 life. And in there, you're going to get the tools, the resources to be able to excel in every one of those aspects of your life and in your business, as well as get business coaching to help you to continue to persist and grow your business so that you can have not only the financial success as a 6 and 7 figure entrepreneur, but that you can have holistic success. If that's you, click the link. I promise I'm out your way. Get back to the episode. Just by saying you want a better marriage won't get you a better marriage, because you got an old habit already of not creating enough time for your spouse, not being intentional about scheduling date night, not being intentional about scheduling time that y'all talk to one another if y'all schedules are that busy. And so that new goal, that new wine of wanting a better marriage ain't gonna happen in 2025 as long as you fitting it into this old framework. See, the way that God set everything up, he does everything in order. So God created the heavens and earth. Then he put creatures in it. He creates the capacity before he inputs the content. No different than us. He gives us the ability before he gives us the assignment. So same is true when we have new goals that we want to hit, that we have to create new capacity because your new goal not going to fit in your old habits. Another one. So say right now, you don't have a whole lot of time in your day to go to the gym. Your health been suffering, feel like trash, your sleep is horrible. And so you, like 80% of the country, start of the year, gonna start working out. If you don't create intentional time, whether that be during your lunch break, whether that be before work or business starts, whether that be in the evening, if you don't schedule that time, it will be another random activity that will have more random results. You're never going to get away with starting something new and something old. It just don't work like that. So, I mean, just think back to everything that you've tried to do that wasn't sustainable. I guarantee you it was because you didn't create intentional capacity for the new thing that you wanted to do. You were putting new wine into old wineskins. And it's only so long before the wineskins burst, as the gas and the pressure starts to build. So same is true. People don't give up anything, but just try to add on to what they were already doing that wasn't working. And then wonder why by February 13th, 70% of the people quit whatever their New Year's resolution was. Well, you know why? Because those gases and pressure, those are the stresses of your life, the issues in your life, all of the inconveniences in your life. When those things build, before Valentine's Day, the wineskins burst. You quit. So we have to be just as intentional about doing an audit on our life and being honest with ourselves, right? Like truly look at where I say I want to go holistically. Do what's called a Franklin T. You make one column with all the good things that are helping you get in that direction. You make another column with all the bad things that are not so much. And you got to be brutally honest with yourself. Some of them bad things could be you. When you do that though, now you're bringing awareness. So the first step is to audit. Then you're bringing awareness to what those shortcomings really are. Well, you know what? I love to stay up late, but if I'm gonna start getting up at 6 o'clock every day, if I'm gonna start getting up at 5 o'clock every day, I can't be sitting on the couch eating chocolate covered almonds at 11 o'clock. I'm talking to me right now. So I have to create new capacity for the new thing that I want to do. So the first thing that I'm going to have to do is do an audit. The second thing I'm going to have to do is bring awareness to it. I got to be real. Okay, this is a real issue. And then third, I'm assessing new action to it to change the behavior. So in the instance of that I just explained, well, initially my body is still going to be accustomed to staying up eating chocolate covered almonds at 11 o'clock at night, going to bed at 12, 1 o'clock. So at first it's going to suck. I'm just going to have to force myself to get up even on short rest. And after beating the hell out of myself for a couple of days, I'll probably figure out, you know what, I ain't doing that no more. So you have to audit, bring awareness, and then actually assess the action that's going to change the behavior. And by the way, you know, I work out every day. Probably my wife teased me. She's like, do you ever take a day off? I try to, but then like I feel like working out, so then I don't, right? But mine is less about getting all the things done within the day. It's about, I don't like to rush in the morning. So when I quit corporate America, the first thing I did was get rid of alarm. I don't even know what that is, right? So for years, I got up when I got up. Okay. Fortunately, the way the business is set up, my first meeting is not until like 11 o'clock, typically on most days. So I really could. I just wake up when I wake up. I get up at 8:30, you know, and spend some time with God and go get me a Celsius, some water, and go to the gym, right? Get back before my 11 o'clock meeting. The problem that I found with that, or that I find with that, is I just don't like the fact that people are all, I don't like the fact that people are already, I don't like the fact that people are already up, working, moving around. So although my day is starting later and I'm getting into the flow of the day, just think about if I'm at the gym at 10 a.m., it's people that's been up. My wife get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. She would have been taught too, because she do that. Ladies, she does bar. She's a bar instructor, right? BARRE. So she'll go teach 2 of them classes, be back. I'd just be getting out the bed. So imagine by 10 o'clock when I'm just not getting to the gym, man, the business here is on fire, right? People already pinging me, this, that, email. So I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. So literally, because I know I like to take my time in the morning, I'm getting up earlier just to take my time, right? I'm getting up earlier. 2025, I'm gonna get up. It's gonna be 6 or 6:30. Okay, I'm just letting y'all know. It's 6 or 2. That's a big jump from 8:30. I've already started to take back to momentum. So I already started to taper some of this off. And I've been getting up at like 7:30 for the last 2 months in preparation for this. But it's 2025, 6:30, 6 o'clock. Okay. Because I like to take like an hour in the morning to really get my brains together, spend some time with God, go through the wake up, thought process, all the rest of it. If I could be to the gym, done at the gym by 8:30, 9 o'clock, come back, get a banana, some fruit, whatever, and shower, and then I'm deep into my my think work at 10 a.m., I'm killing it, right? Because that's how my schedule is kind of laid out now. Because again, I can't say that I just want to get better as a leader. I can't say I want to get better as a communicator. I can't say I want to get better as a coach and not schedule time to work on my craft, right? So 10 a.m. every single day is that hour is for that, right? I'm in various mentorship coaching programs. That's where I consume that content. And again, I had to create the capacity for that. Otherwise, guess what happened? I get in the portal when I get a minute of margin. I listen to an audio book when I get a second. Audio book scheduled 6 p.m. every day. So I'm just trying to give y'all an idea and insight as to how you'll be able to get more consistent with one, setting the right goals, and then being able to actually go out and execute them. So you got to audit where you are, Franklin T, good, bad, brutally honest, even if it hurt your own feelings. Then you got to bring awareness, and then you assess new actions to those areas to fix them, because they are not going to fix themselves. You get old automatically. You get better with intention. You get older automatically. You get better with intention. So you got to be very intentional about what are these things that I got to get rid of so that I'm putting my new wine in new wineskin, to put it in an environment where it can actually grow and ferment and become the most beautiful, tasting, satisfying thing that it's supposed to. Only you can do that for you. And what I want everybody to stop doing is fooling themselves by thinking that I'm going to keep all of this nonsense and then because it sounds good, just add the new stuff. But how that's been working for you? Not so good, right? Not so good. I'll leave you with this. There's going to be people called your top 5 people you communicate with most. Maybe a parent, friend, coworker, whatever. You look in your phone, the people you text with, talk to, top 5 people. If they are not aligned with this new version of you that you need to become in order to hit these new goals, you're going to have to get out the car with them and get in the car with somebody that is headed to the destination that you're going to. You're going to have to spend less time with those folks and more time. See, you got to get to a point where you spend less time with people that look like your past and more time with people that look like your future. And contrary to belief, you don't got to run around cutting everybody off. But if you start living your life with intention, on purpose, with purpose, they'll eventually cut you off. Like when I quit drinking and partying, there were people that would still reach out, and I wasn't never on no funny business, right? Like that was my decision. That was something me and God came up with, to each his own, right? But there were people that just quit inviting me to stuff. Why? Because they know I had a new intention and focus. They know I had a new lifestyle. So they didn't even bother inviting me to stuff. So what happens is, it's this misnomer that you got to run around cutting everybody off. The truth is, when you start living your life according to what your goals and your vision are, the people around you will identify that you don't identify with them anymore. So they'll cut you off. Right? Which, by the way, when that happens, congratulations, you've evolved. Because most look at that as a negative thing. It's actually positive. In some form, it's God protection because he knew you wouldn't be bold enough to make the separation yourself. And in other times, it really is their awareness of the fact that y'all just not equally yoked anymore. And that's good. That means you grown. It's not a bad thing. You ain't intended to be with everybody that you once were with. Not if you planning on getting to where you're trying to go. They don't even know what address to put in the thing into the Google Maps to get you there. Why? Because they've never been to that destination. You got to start hanging with people that frequent the place you're trying to get to. They know it. They hang out there. People know their name. You need them to introduce you to that place. Y'all copy? So that was a bonus. But as I started this, I'm going to end with, I'm grateful for y'all. Please continue to let us know how these conversations are helping. And if nothing else, be honest with yourself. Forget everybody else. Just be honest with yourself. Because if you can get to a place of honesty and you can do a true audit, and you can bring awareness, and you can assess new actions, you will absolutely have a new life. And you ain't got to wait for every calendar year to do that. You should be checking in with yourself often. Till next time, y'all stick to the mission.